Hello and welcome. It's SportsCenter from the nation's capital. I'm Scott Van Pelt. We will have full post-game reaction from Thursday Night Football from Lambeau, where the Packers impress again. We'll visit with one of the stars as they knock off Washington. Damian Woody here to break down what he saw on Thursday night from this Packer team and preview a couple of the other big matchups in Week 2 in the National Football League. And how about little trombone shorty? Off to a nice start in winners, so naturally, I just scribbled a million teams on the card. We'll be handing out winners a little bit later in the program. As for Thursday Night Football, Lambeau Field, such a special place, not just in the NFL, but really all of American sport. And what a showdown you've got. A couple of playoff teams from a season ago. And this thing starts off, and it's all Packers. They are scoreless in this football game, but it had really been going their way. Washington hadn't done much, and that's Tucker Kraft, a gain of 57. 3rd and 9, money down in the NFL, and here comes Love. That's a big man. He's handing out the punishment, running over the rookie Trey Amos. First down Packers. Very next play, Josh Jacobs is a threat. Little look in that direction, and then a quick dart to Romeo Dobbs. Matt LaFleur fired up. Packers lead 7-0. It's still 7-0. And it's Love. Under duress, just throwing it up, and looks like an incompletion. But Malik Heath had one catch on the night. It's this one. Incredible footwork. A gain of 37. A few plays later. We said this often on Thursday night, or Al Michaels did. It's Love. Tucker Kraft, get off me. A gain of 17. Love had 214 passing yards in the first half. Most in the first half in his career. It's 1st and goal. Josh Jacobs, for the 10th consecutive game, has a rushing touchdown. That is a record in the proud history of the Green Bay Packers franchise. 14-3, all Pack. It's 17-3. And it's late 3rd on 4th down. Washington goes for it. Zach Ertz makes the catch. There's a flag. They called a hold on Nate Hobbs. Washington benefits there from a bit of a ticky-tack call. Early 4th. 3rd and 9. Daniels to McLaurin. And Washington, who didn't get anything easy, and Danny was screaming, move him or do something. A little bit of movement here, and it's Zach Ertz, 2 games in a row. The vet has a touchdown grab, and Ertz from Daniels. And Washington is suddenly down just 7. Had a bit of a feel like the Minnesota game. They're not in this game at all, and yet they're only down 7. And then, who else? It's Kraft. The flag was on Washington. That's the 3rd down completion. Kraft 6 for 124. And they run a beautiful play design here. And they hit him again. Kraft for the touchdown. Washington, much like Detroit Week 1, they got a late touchdown to make it look a little bit better than it really was. And Green Bay opens its season with a pair of victories over teams who had a dozen wins last year. They're just the 5th team in the Super Bowl era to do that. Among the previous 4 to do so, none made the Super Bowl. And in 2002, the Broncos failed to make the playoffs. But it's an impressive victory. Damian Woody is here alongside. And Damian, we've gone to great lengths through the years to make it very clear early in the season that a couple of games is way too small a sample size to freak out. However, it's enough that you have seen from Green Bay to comfortably say what about them?
Oh, they're right there with Philadelphia in the NFC. Like the way that the Green Bay Packers are playing right now. And I said when Michael Parsons got traded to the Packers, he brought juice with him. And that juice is overflowing to all those guys, particularly on the defensive side of the football. Scott, we saw the whole game, how those guys are hunting like hyenas out there, flying all around the field. Listen, this is a Washington Commanders team last week that ran for like 220 yards.
Yep.
They had 51 yards rushing tonight, okay? They held this Washington Commanders team in check. And when you're playing this well defensively, think how aggressive that Jordan Love and company on offense can play, knowing that they have a defense that can totally back them up.
It certainly helps frame what was a really disappointing week one from Detroit, right? You see a game like this against a team who made it to the NFC Championship game in Washington, who has an explosive offense. They didn't go nuts against New York, but New York's got a nice front as well. But now this is 2 weeks in a row where they've really stifled on defense. And then as you said that can really help Love. How does it help so much for Love to get into a rhythm on offense when the defense is giving him the football back right out one series after another?
Well, I think it's the aggressiveness. We saw it time after time with the Green Bay Packers on offense, those shot plays down the field. And when you have a defense playing the way that they're playing, where they're basically eliminating the opposition's offense, you're able to take more, when I say gambles per se, on the offensive side of the ball. We know this Green Bay Packers team, they have so many weapons, whether you talk about Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs. They have a plethora of weapons out there, so this is what it's all about.
Watson's still on the bench and will be back maybe week 5, perhaps week 6. Reed went down very early with a shoulder injury in this one, so weapons, yes. But the way this defense is playing, and again, I made the point, Detroit had the late touchdown week 1, Washington got the late touchdown here. I mean, the game largely wasn't that competitive, and they bottled up Daniels. 2 weeks is only 2 weeks, and you are at home, yes, but you're very comfortable in saying put them right there with the team that just won the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Think about this over the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions, who had the number one seed in the postseason last year. The Washington Commanders, who went to the NFC Championship game. And both of those defenses held both of those teams to 250 yards and less.
Josh Jacobs is going to be our guest. We'll visit with him a little bit later. Again, he's got a touchdown in 10 consecutive games. Anything about this concerning to you from the Washington standpoint, given that Daniels did look like he rolled an ankle there late, did stay in to get the late touchdown to Debo, but the offense hasn't really popped these first 2 weeks. They've got the Raiders and then they hit the road for a couple. Is there anything concerning about this NFC Championship team from a season ago that folks around here in our neighborhood are hoping to see ascend? What haven't you seen from them early?
Yeah, I think the deep passing game, those explosive plays in the passing game hasn't been there yet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can take a little time to get that connection going in the deep passing game with Terry McLaurin, but I think that's the element that's missing with the Washington Commanders. They were able to run the ball for a ton of yards last week, but they need those explosive plays in the passing game.
We got to go, but as a man that made his living trying to keep his quarterback's uniform clean, the get-off speed from number 1 in the white jersey.
It's sick. It's just absolutely sick. I felt so bad for the rookie out there just trying to block him one-on-one. It was bad. It was real bad.
Rookie or the right tackle or left.
It didn't matter.
Or Tunsil, the left tackle, has been around for a while. It's really hard to keep. And he's got some company there. That get-off speed, that's a youngest defense in the league.
Youngest team in the league.
Well, they don't look it. More to come from Damian a little bit later in the show as we look a little further down the road towards week 2 and some of the